is the 5. President Trump is standing firm on his decision to pull the plug on a White House invitation for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. The president instead hosting a Celebration of America event.
We love our country, we respect our flag, and we always proudly stand for the national anthem. It's about time that we understood. We stand to honor our military and to honor our country and to remember the fallen heroes who never made it back home.
After his city's team was disinvited, Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney slammed the president as, quote, not a true patriot and launched a new personal attack.
The guy is just a scary guy. And I don't know. Hopefully, by the time he's gone, we can recover from this mess. But this is a bad time in our country. I'm frightened about the fact that he has his hands on the nuclear codes. That he threatens to annihilate North Korea.
Meanwhile,
what the heck is
I'm shaking my head.
Yeah, my goodness.
Wow. Meanwhile, the White House is accusing the Eagles of playing politics.
If this wasn't a political stunt by the Eagles franchise, then they wouldn't have planned to attend the event and then backed out at the last minute. And if it wasn't a political stunt, then they wouldn't have attempted to reschedule the visit when they knew that the president was going to be overseas. And if this wasn't a political stunt, they wouldn't have waited until Monday.
Jesse is a diehard Eagles fan, and he was there for all of the action at the White House. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Kimberly, how are you?
Good, good, good. So how are you feeling about this whole thing? Because I know you're a huge Eagles fan, so you get to be there. And
yes.
What's the deal?
Yeah, so huge fan. Let's just get one thing straight, though. Both are winners. The Eagles beat the Patriots, and Trump beat Crooked Hillary. So we'll have that. No one's ever going to take that away from us. But this is tough for me. You know, Eagles, Trump, I'm a Philly guy. I'm going to have to side with Trump, though. It's like the Eagles try to trick play. Trump sniffed it out and shut it down. I don't like how they played the gamesmanship with the guest list. They started with 60, and then 24 hours before, it was less than 10. It was like an owner, an assistant coach, and a mascot. I mean, come on. And then you have the mayor coming in. He doesn't speak for the Philadelphia Eagles. He sounds like Joy Behar. The guy's a joke. What mess is this country in? It's record unemployment. I don't know what this guy's talking about. So he kind of compounded the error. But everybody was happy to be there. They didn't see the Eagles. They saw me. I was kind of the consolation prize.
Oh my God.
Although one person thought I was Ted Mosby. I don't really know who that is. And another person thought I was Tucker Carlson.
Wow. So you're just really winning over there, huh?
Yeah, it's a big day.
All right, big day. Huge day for Jesse. Okay, well, that's fine at least. All right, so Brian, you want to chime in? You got some stuff for Jess?
Jesse, so for you to
Chime in. You got some stuff for Jess?
Jesse, so for you to if we understand this correctly, the Eagles didn't show up. At first, they made it clear earlier, late last week, they were going to show up. So
Right.
they actually tried to trump Trump. And when Trump pulled the rug out from them, then the attacks came. So who's the winner here? I don't get it.
Well, like I said, they're both winners. The Eagles still have the trophy. That's never going to change. And Trump does what he does. You know, he did the Singapore dance with Little Rocket Man, canceling the meeting and then bringing it back on. But listen, the Eagles don't look good here. But Philadelphia fans, I don't really think they're going to care that much. We're still going to cheer for the Eagles. And the Trump people in Pennsylvania are still going to pull the lever for Donald.
All right, well, there we go. Sports Center meets like news at night. Okay, Juan, you have some questions for this?
So Jesse, I'm like deeply offended, man. You mean nobody said, hey, aren't you Juan Williams?
No, Juan, that did not
Jesse,
happen.
you know I'm pulling your leg. Hey, you know, I thought Trump, though, had a big win on this subject last week when the NFL owners said they were setting new rules for this coming season that would require the players to either stand for the anthem if they're on the field or remain in the locker room. But then this morning he's tweeting out, hey, no escape to the locker room. And I'm thinking, you know, the owners aren't even escaping here. Trump is bullying both the players and the owners. Am I wrong?
I think bullying is a tough term, Juan. I think we all need to grow up and stop being so sensitive about bullying here.
Oh, I see.
The president,
Bullying's okay.
These are billionaire owners that are making a fortune. I think everybody is a grown-up here. But listen, he didn't like the settlement. He didn't like this kind of in-between deal where you get to stay in the locker room for the anthem or you're going to come out and stand. He wants it all in. You're either 100% for the country and the flag or we're not going to play ball. And he's going to fight until he's satisfied, and we'll see who backs down. It looks like the owners back down a little bit. Maybe they got some more backing down in them. We don't know.
All right. Hey, Jesse, so any more highlights from the day?
Well, I'm a little nervous because when I was trying to talk to the president when he was leaving, I didn't get a chance to, but I lost my dad for a second, who I brought, and I caught back up with him, and I said, Dad, where were you? And he goes, I just did an interview with ABC. And I'm like, was it local ABC? He goes, I don't know. It might have been national. So I have no idea what my dad said on camera to ABC. I think he's jealous that mom text is taken off.
Yes.
I don't know what.
All right. Well, I think your dad's going to get an agent next, right?
That's right.
I don't know. That's very cool. I'm glad you guys found each other, buddy system and all. All right. Well, it sounds like it was fun. We're going to have to say goodbye now. Parting is such sweet sorrow, Jesse.
Bye, guys. We'll see you later.
Get back to winning.
What I don't understand, Kimberly, is how come people say, well, President Trump should have had it anyway? Mm-hmm. Where does it even come from? He has the mascot, the owner, who hates him, by the way, despises him, says he's destroying the country, and then one other player, perhaps. What do you mean he's going to have it? How could he possibly have it? He had no choice but to cancel it.
That's not true. He could have taken the uproar. In fact, he had issued an invitation.
There's no party without people. You can't have a party without people.
The point is
Jesse
that the players didn't want to be used as for a photo op. They wanted to have a real interaction. In fact, I think they requested it at their coming time with Trump. They were told no.
No, they were not told no. The request was in along with 85 requests for invitations and press credentials.
Yes, that's right.
Check.
That's what I'm saying.
But you know that photo op is something that's been done for 25, 30 years.
No, they don't want a photo op. And this is something that one of the former players said. It wasn't just about the standing. A lot of these guys don't like Donald Trump.
So all right. Well, so Dana, let's talk about how this played out, right? Because people were expecting this big, fun, happy thing, sports. Then the national anthem gets introduced into it. Then you've got the mayor who sounded a little bonks. I don't know. He was kind of crazy talking about it.
Can I just say, I just think the whole thing, all of it is just a real shame. I don't like culture war stuff. I think that the president has such good news to talk about. In fact, they lead the White House briefing today with Kevin Hassett to talk about the economy, which is roaring, and they have all this stuff. And because cultural stuff will always rise to the top. And will get covered the most. I do think it's a shame. I don't know. I would like to know more of the details because I think some of the facts, at least as I understand them, at least are in dispute. Did they want to have a personal meeting with him behind the scenes? Right. I don't know.
Politico says they did.
Okay. So, and I don't know, but then you said that they didn't.
No, they requested
it and were denied.
Along with the credentials. I don't know that they were denied. I did not hear it was denied.
I don't know. I just think that it's a shame, but it is possible that maybe one of the best things to do is just to stop having teams come to the White House and focus on the people's business. All
right. So, Greg, where do you fall down on this?
I don't give a toss about these players, okay? I'm only here to talk about it because we have to talk about it. The economy is good. There's low unemployment. Terror. Right. Where is ISIS right now? North Korea is at the table. We have Iran on watch, right? We have, like you said, so much good news that I really don't care that these players are upset or they're offended. I don't care. They are millionaires. The owners are billionaires. You know what? Maybe what I would like to see Trump do is maybe do a big drilling initiative to deal with the gas prices. That would be good. But the media has really carried the water on this and made this a terrible story. They claim that it's not directed at the anthem, which goes against our eyes. When you watch a football game, you're watching it. You can say, no, it's about police brutality, but we are watching it happen during the anthem. And what you're saying is, well, the anthem is a political act. Standing for the anthem is a political act. If that's the case, then so was the 4th of July. So was the flag. That's garbage. Number one, it's just a symbol. That's all it is. Number two, saying it's a free speech issue. It's only a free speech if it's pertaining to the government. This is an actual business. No, you're not getting arrested for saying something. You're actually just being penalized as an employee. So the way the media has carried this, and you saw it specifically in the press conference in which April Ryan and the other dude from NBC, can't think of his name, were peppering Sanders with just redundant, stupid questions like, aren't you aware this is about brutality? Yes, aren't you aware that the message is convoluted? That when you see players up there, they're making the big sitting during or kneeling during the national anthem. They're making a huge mistake. They're injecting politics into a non-political event. We talk about this every year. We talk about, the best way to ruin a Thanksgiving dinner is talk about politics. But somehow it's different at a sporting event. You can come in and inject politics. No, you inject politics at an appropriate venue. You pay the price. People don't want to hear it. We're so over this.
No,
move on.
Let me tell you something. How important this is. This is about Trump
I've been over it for a while.
Playing culture wars, as Dana said. But I think it's particularly dangerous because I think it tears at the fabric of our society.
I agree.
With regard to race.
Absolutely.
And I
because
think
you see everything through the prism of race.
I do not, but I'm telling you, in this case, I don't have any doubt about the color of the majority of the players or the players who are the ones who've been kneeling and raising a fist to protest police brutality.
All right.
And I think it's their legitimate. You said, it's not a free speech issue. Or it's not a patriot. Let me just explain to you that, in fact, the rolling out of the flag and the anthem and with the players on the sidelines is a new reality. It used to be that they were always in the locker room during the playing of the national anthem. Now they're on the sidelines. And in recent years, there has been an explosion of big flags, flyovers, expressions of why? Because in so many cases, in fact, what you see is that the NFL was charging the military. It wasn't genuine.
We're veering off to another area.
No.
I want to agree with you, Juan. I want to agree with you.
What's politics in sports? Politics in sports is important in America today.
I want to agree with them on this. There are issues with the criminal justice system, but this specific debate, did absolutely nothing to help the dialogue. Instead, it created two separate teams, pro-anthem, anti-anthem. You could say, no, that's not what it's about. But when your eyes look at something and you see it happening, visuals are the most persuadable thing, and people see that. It did nothing for the, quote, dialogue. All it did was alienate sporting fans. And to another point, if you believe that standing for the anthem or the flag is a political event, that's on you for being political.
No, I stand for the anthem myself, but I'm just telling you that what you've got here is a situation where Donald Trump has found a way to stir his base. His base is saying,
he started this.
Because this has nothing to do with the national anthem, nothing to do with the flag, nothing to do with love of our troops, because even the NFL Players Association today, Kimberly, put out a statement says, we love our troops, we love our country, we love our flag.
Why did they have to do that?
Why did they have to do that? Because the message was convoluted.
Wait a second, Brian says,
stand up in front of a police station.
But you don't like law enforcement.
No, who said that?
Because they're standing up against what they say is police brutality.
Correct.
In the minority community.
In other words, bad cops, not good cops, Brian.
Yeah, but they had to put that statement out because that's exactly how it was perceived as disrespectful to the to the troops, to the military, and to the country.
It was pushed by Donald Trump to stir up his voters.
He wasn't the one taking a knee.
He wasn't president when Kaepernick first
when all that started.
No, he has picked up on it since he's been president.
Because it bothers him. And I just say I can agree with both of you on this. Is that Donald Trump? No, I can agree. Well, Kimberly,
it's a Trump tie, everybody.
Kimberly will fight on that. But here's the thing: the president should, if he wants to talk about the economy, he can lay out when he wants to. He has not taken on Kim. He's not taken on Lavrov. If he wanted to talk about the economy, he just wouldn't tweet about this. He wants this fight.
Yes, he does.
Wants this fight.
He wants to tell black people to shut up.
And Stephen A. Smith, of all people,
wants to tell black people to shut up.
I don't think that.
I think that's exactly right. Don't talk about racial injustice, black folks.
He's just pro.
That's never been discussed.
And look at the record unemployment among blacks and minorities and women right now. So, yes, that's somebody who really wants to tell black people to shut up.
You don't want to talk about black unemployment.
Because you have arguments like that, Kimberly, that, when you look at the facts, you say,
he's not saying anything to tell.
Oh, my gosh.
This is just ridiculous.
One of his biggest critics is Chris Long, Howie Long's son.
Absolutely.
What color is he?
Well, I'm just telling you, Steve Kerr also, the coach of the Warriors, the same thing.
Does that mean he doesn't like white people?
No, this is not about the flag. He is using this to attack a minority group that's not among his supporters.
No, but he's using this as an opportunity to attack the president, to try to call him racist, to say that he's against black people when there is no evidence to suggest that
The NFL is
whatsoever.
one of the most inclusive workplaces in America. But now, as a result of Trump's interference, it's absolutely corroded the relationship between the owners.
So blacks are leaving the NFL in droves?
You know, if they did, boy, that would be something, wouldn't it? Well, there goes the quality.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing.
And
I think the NFL is just fine, and a lot of the owners are standing by their players, too. So to try to tie this in tangentially to President Trump and call him a racist and that he tells black people to shut up is just completely out of line.
If the political story is true, it looks like a scripted event to embarrass the president. Give me 85 passes, give me 70 passes, give me one for the mascot and the owner. That's a scripted attempt to embarrass the White House.
And what happens when the players show up and Trump stands there and says, "Oh, look, these guys are supporting me," and oh, please, they don't want to be used.
And why did they say 80 are going to come and then less than 24 hours before, and then they pull the cord? I mean, it's like a bait and switch. And so then he shows up there, and there's like the goofy mascot and whoever, and poor Jesse and his dad.
That's why this is so pointless.
Right, we do have. There's a lot of news to talk about.
All right, we got to go.
And if
Rodman's going to North Korea, and you're saying Trump doesn't listen.
That's right.
So now for some bad news for Democrats ahead of key primaries in 8 states. Find out why when we return.
8 states today. Just 5 months before November's midterms, a new poll reveals voters in competitive battleground districts don't have a clear idea of who leads the Democratic Party. 45% of midterm voters say Democrats are leaderless. MSNBC's Chris Matthews has a theory on what might be causing the party's problem.
There's too many elitisms. There's so much elitism in the Democratic Party. It's so outrageous. By the way, I'm rooting against them. Even though I may agree with their policies, I think there's a party attitude of elitism, and I think they got to get over it. And it's too much talking to fundraisers, because the people they talk to on these kind of shows are really the people they want the money from, and they're the elite.
Understandable after a party loses a general election for the presidency that they are leaderless for a while until there's a primary. But Greg, do you think that Chris Matthews thought that the Democrats had an elitism problem when Barack Obama was president?
No, and that's the funniest thing, because if you look at what President Obama said to Ben Rhodes in that interview we talked about, when he says, America just wasn't ready for me. So if you want to talk about elitism, that's, Obama. I mean, remember, for the Democrats, America is the fallen and they are the angels. Everybody else is flawed. And I think it's really hard to be a blue-collar Democrat these days, because as a Democrat, you have to be up on every nuance of gender and racial politics. You have to know the 50 pronouns. You have to know that every type of gender designation. You have to have every nuance of cultural appropriation in your head. And the only way to do that is to be an elitist campus cultist. And that, you can't be a plumber. You can't be an electrician. You can't be a carpenter and know all that stuff. You just got to be a campus activist. That's a really small population.
Voters who said the Democratic Party does not have a leader could not agree on who it was. Brian, Chuck Schumer got 16% of the vote, Nancy Pelosi 15%, Bernie Sanders 13%. Hillary Clinton still pulling strong with a 7%.
And right, you just got to ask yourself, who is the forget the person, what's the prototype that's going to get me the House and the Senate? So then you find the prototype and who has those legitimate attributes, and then run to them. Senator Schumer, a guy from Brooklyn, I'm not necessarily saying it. Nancy Pelosi from the West Coast, I wouldn't say that's your ticket to success. Right. And Bernie Sanders must scare the heck out of most Democrats, because he's not even a Democrat, and he's a self-avowed socialist. So the question is, what does the Democrat look like? What are his attributes?
Well, and one of the things that today, there's several states, there's 8 states. One of them is Iowa, Juan. And what I learned today is that the Democrat that's likely to win the primary today in Iowa is not like either Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton. They're maybe just trying to shed that altogether and start anew?
Well, I think you got a lot of people. I mean, go back to what happened with Connor Lamb, or go back to Doug Jones in Alabama. I don't think you'd say any of them, although they're successful and ran as Democrats in states that were dominated by Donald Trump, or districts that were dominated by Donald Trump. These are folks who won. And so I think you're looking for new models. The thing that comes to my mind, you look back to, let's say, the last time we had a first-term president going into midterms, that's Barack Obama in 2010. Now, there was a terrible, large red wave that swept over at that time. Terrible from my perspective, but I think that it was a great from your perspective. But I'm just saying there was a big wave. And what we're seeing now is I don't think that you would have said back then, who is the GOP leader, and had an answer.
No, you didn't. That's why I say it's
right.
quite natural.
So I think that when you bring that up now, people are saying, well, so is it Schumer, Pelosi, Bernie? We don't know.
We're
but I don't
153
think
days to the midterms, and then we're off to the races.
Correct. I think that's the key point. And I think that when you look at, like today in the first segment, we're talking about the NFL players kneeling, or we could talk about yesterday immigration. These are issues that gin up your voters. And the key issue becomes which side's voters are more enthusiastic about turning out, because turnout is the key in midterms. And in that 2010 race, Republicans were really sped up about Obamacare. In this case, you have Democrats who have a tremendous advantage in terms of voter enthusiasm. And guess what? It's about the actual man who this midterm is going to be about. It's a referendum on Donald Trump.
All right. So California is the other big state, Kimberly, today. You know a little bit about what's going on out there with this election. One thing that surprised me is that on the table in California, one of the questions is going to be expanding Medicaid to illegal immigrants for adults up to age 26. Previously, it was just for up to people who are age 19, but now California has this on the table, and it is becoming quite a liberal state, and there's a big primary, big governor's race out there. What do you think?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think that's just going too far. You know, I mean, they have no common sense, it seems, now in government in California, because they want to hand everything out, pay for everything. They're having major financial and economic problems. How are they going to be able to sustain this? This is not a workable framework. They do not have the means to be able to pay for all this, yet they continue to flagrantly violate and, you know, basically just turn a blind eye to the law, whether it's in sanctuary cities or now just giving free stuff away. It's becoming a completely like a socialist state and being mismanaged, and it seems they're trying to attack an even more liberal direction, and we'll see where this goes. But from the looks of it, it's going to continue in that way.
It is. All right, well, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll have results tomorrow. President Trump outraged over delays in the DOJ Inspector General's report on the Clinton email probe. That's next.
Never gonna slow down. We were shining like lighters in the dark in the middle of a rock show.
President Trump blasting another delay in the release of the Justice Department Inspector General's report on the Clinton email investigation. The president tweeting this morning, quote, "What's taking so long with the Inspector General's report on crooked Hillary and slippery James Comey? Numerous delays. Hope report is not being changed and made weaker. There are so many horrible things to tell. The public has the right to know transparency." What do you say, Greg?
Oh, don't come to me. I feel like we're at a casino, and one side is betting on red, which is the Hillary scandal. The other side's betting on black, the roulette table. It's Trump scandal.
Is that what it says there?
Yeah.
You're not even reading that.
Yeah. That's what I write, because this is like the longest political hangover in history. I wrote that too.
They're pumping in oxygen.
Yeah, they're pumping in oxygen. You don't know what time it is. You don't know what time it is in there. It's just keeps going on and on.
But it feels like it should have been released by now, but I don't really know what time it is.
Just keep losing money. The hilarious thing about it all goes back to Anthony Weiner.
June 11th. A lot of people are going to be looking forward to June 12th because that's Singapore. So are they about to have a very explosive report that's swamped, intentionally, I use that word intentionally, swamped by Singapore, which is the president's move? My thing is, I am not interested in Comey and Hillary's emails. I'm interested in Hillary's emails when she was Secretary of State. They want to find out about that. I'm interested in the impact of Peter Strzok and Page and what they did, and as it relates to Contreras, the judge, and what the FBI was up to when they should have been legitimately investigating both sides. But if you talk about Comey and Hillary's emails, I have no interest. McCabe lying, leaking to the Wall Street Journal, and that battle between Comey and McCabe and who's telling the truth, that interests me. But Hillary Clinton is old news. I'd rather look at Walter Mondale and why he lost 49-1 to Ronald Reagan.
Oh, well, wow. we know why.
Wow. Hey, so Dana, do you have anything on this one? Because I have another question for you, but I want to give you the opportunity.
The report
to
will be
speak
out
on
when it's out.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to ask you about, Dana, was Paul Manafort and the pressure now being put on him. Apparently, Mueller is going to a judge and saying Manafort was tampering with witnesses and asking the judge to put Manafort in jail. What do you think?
Right. So Judge Napolitano was on the daily briefing today trying to explain this, and apparently the government is saying that they are going to tell the judge Manafort was using encrypted technology to reach out to other possible witnesses to get them all on the same page with his version of the facts. And that is an inappropriate thing to do. And quite brazen, maybe also just like crazy. I don't know. So that hearing is next Friday. But interestingly enough, next Friday, which is June 15th, is also the day that Michael Cohen has a hearing. So it's going to be a big judicial blockbuster day.
Wow. You have something to say, sir?
Except for I just say that Greg is just I can't get over the fact that Greg looks forward to someday be under house arrest.
Yes,
he just says
that is my dream.
Love the idea of being under house arrest.
Just to have somebody tell you can't leave your home. Fantastic.
And he doesn't have to go on vacation. He just orders food in.
Just do the elliptical.
Yeah, I think he'll love the bracelet. Can too much bad news actually harm your health? Greg is going to break it down. A new report next on The Five.